there's a video that I came across our desk here, right? And in this video, the folks are really starting to realize how detrimental anti-Black racism has been to them. Because we've always talked about how detrimental it is to us as FBAs, because we have been the victims and still is the victims of anti-Black racism. But in the process of them committing the most ungodly, evil acts to a group of people that did them nothing at all, right? All we doing is existing in the world. And every time that we do something to be self-sufficient, here they come trying to commit acts of terrorism, to destroy it, committing acts of fraud, to undermine us financially, sabotaging our, careers and businesses. And every time you look up, they're trying to sabotage and harm Black people. But in the process, they continually harm themselves. I want you to listen to what this man has to say, because more and more of them I'm starting to see are starting to say this. Well, let's go ahead and check this out.
Is anyone else convinced that the only reason we can't have good social safety programs in the United States, like a good social healthcare system and a good safety net system, is because of the bunch of white people who are racist? And here's what I mean. I am convinced that if you could tell the racists that only white people would get food stamps and universal healthcare and universal basic income, they would all vote for it. The only reason they don't want to vote for it is because they're afraid that Black people and people of color might get it. And I can prove it. Look at back in the day, there used to be public pools in almost every town in the South. No matter how big or small the town was, they used to have a public pool. And then after the Civil Rights Act, they had to start letting people of color into their public pools. And white people decided they would rather fill the pools with concrete and let nobody swim than have to swim with Black people. And I'm convinced the same thing happens with our social safety net. These people would rather suffer themselves than help Black people too. I am so convinced this is why this country is so.
Let me start this over. His analysis is 2,000% correct. Every time they try to offer something to everybody, they are against it. Let's go down the route. He talked about universal health care. I think it was FDR that was trying to introduce universal health care. But they were thoroughly against universal health care because why? Because FBAs would get it. I mean, think about it. What kind of logic is that? That's not even common sense. So I'm going to deprive myself of something because I hate this group of people so much that I'm willing to suffer just so I don't see them benefit. You understand what I'm saying? And these people running around here talking about a high IQ, that's not a high IQ thinking at all. High IQ thinking would say, let me get the free health care because I could save my money and put that money toward, maybe saving it, purchasing a home, getting some job training, starting a business, putting my kids through school, like whatever the case may be. I don't have to spend this money on health care because I can apply that money somewhere else. So they rather siphon all the money out of their bank account just so FBAs would not have it. And see, at that time period, they didn't care because you got to think about the time period that when this was being presented. Factories were still here in America. Men could work one job, buy a home, have 2 cars, put kids through college. Oh, they was literally in the height of their privilege, right? So they never really thought that their privilege will start coming down. And when we say privilege, we're not just talking about they are, first hire and last fire, or they don't get criminally charged as they should, or, how they feel upward. We're not talking about that part of the privilege. We're talking about the financial privilege where they thought that, we're so up here that we'll never be down here with the FBAs. So you know what? I can afford it. So no. Nope. we don't want no universal health care. FBAs is going to get it. So nope, because we could pay for a doctor. We can pay for the best doctors. You understand what I'm saying? Well, here's the issue. Not every white person's rich. Sure, you have the 1% among them, but the majority aren't rich people. A lot of them live in these rural areas. That's poor, right? But they are so dedicated to anti-black racism that they will harm themselves. Now, let's move to something else. You could look at, he said, universal basic income. Nope, I don't want it because FBAs is going to get it. Remember, college in this country was free at one point in time. But as he said, after the civil rights movement, now you want to introduce a tuition. Why? Because FBAs can go to college for free. So you rather pay to go to college than get it for free. Once again, that's not high IQ thinking. It's not. And people who are, quote unquote, have a high IQ, they don't have to tell you they have that. You just know by the moves they make, right? And I think I've always thought it was stupid to measure your intelligence off of somebody else's test, a score. You understand what I'm saying? They love to try to quantify things with a score because they use scores to discriminate. Because you have to understand, anything they put in their hands, they use it as a weapon to discriminate and to elevate themselves over everyone else outside of them. But they never banked on today. They never thought that they would be in a position where their degrees aren't worth crap. Having hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt, right? They're dealing with a lot of medical issues and they can't afford it. They can't afford to buy a home. They have now been priced out of America, no different than FBAs. But the difference with FBAs versus them is that we learned how to survive. And in the midst of our survival, we also learned how to thrive. And that's why some of them look at us and they say, well, how in the world are these FBAs? How are they living like that? Because all of them know, racist or not, all of them know what their community has done systemically to our community. They know the sabotage. They know the terrorism. They know where the bodies are buried. They know the trees that was used to take the lives of black people. You understand what I'm saying? They know. Oh, they all know. Don't you let them run around here acting like, what racism? Teach me about it. I need to learn. That is the biggest con and deception ever. They know about racism because they know good and well about they grandma, their grandpa, and anybody else. How they try to clean up their racism. Well, they just old school in their thinking. That's how they pay attention when they say that. They just kind of, the old way. What is the old way? Anti-black racism? That's your family. You're not going to disown them. Majority of you aren't. Right? But anyway, they will harm themselves. Let's go through more little scenarios that it's just immense ignorance. So you got a job. Your supervisor say, hey, I'm going to give a $5 raise on this job, but all of you have to vote for it. So this raise will be across the board for everybody, right? $5, but all of you have to vote for it, right? Okay. So, hey, the black people say, hell yeah, I want the raise. The Hispanics, the Asians, the Arabs, everybody on the job, they want the raise. But then when it's time for the folks to vote for the raise, they say no. And their reason is this. And the job may say, okay, you don't want a $5 raise? Why are you voting against it when all your other coworkers are voting for it? Like, I thought you would want this. No, I don't want it because if all of them going to get it, I don't want it. They say, well, aren't the $5 more an hour not going to benefit you and your family? It would, but if they're going to get it, no, I don't want it. most people would say, what kind of stupid crap is that? Why are you worrying about what somebody else got going on that's not living in your house, not part of your family? You only interact with them at the job. You worrying about whatever they got going on at their house. You don't want them to get nothing better for their family. You can create whole scenarios in your mind what that person may do with the money. So you like, nope, I don't want them to have it. Most people will say that's the dumbest thing ever. Because that's what these folks have constantly done. Right? I gave another example a long time ago. It's like there's a restaurant and they were eating for free for a very long time. And now they say, hey, there's a law where everybody have to eat for free. Black people definitely got to eat for free, too. Oh, well, you know what? No. We'll start paying because I'd rather pay than black people eat for free with me. So wait a minute. You willing to take money out your pocket that could have stayed in your pocket to pay just because you don't want black people to have it? And see, now that's caught up with them. And now it's a student loan crisis. See, when it was a crisis for black people and they was okay, it wasn't a crisis. When we were dealing with the crack epidemic, it wasn't a mental health issue or you know what I'm saying? Now when it's them with all the fentanyl and meth, now, all this fentanyl coming across Canada and Mexico, and we need to put tariffs, and we need to do this, and this is a medical issue. But people like Joe Biden didn't say it was a medical issue with us. He said 3 strikes. You understand? So 3 strikes for us, but a medical issue for them. If we had some criminality, that's just how they are, and they that's their culture, XYZ, but they can go up to a church, shoot up parishioners in the church, Dylan Roof. That's just mental illness, not criminality, not looking at statistics, not looking at anything. Who commits the most crimes in this country, which is white males. They commit the most crime in this country, right? They never quote that. I just saw a statistic the other day from the federal government was talking about people who are arrested with inappropriate pictures of children. And 77% of the arrests are white males. 77%. And I think another 12 was Hispanics. Black people who's arrested for that, I think like 4.6, 4.7. But yeah, we commit all the criminality, right? And the average age that these men, it was 98% male who did this. And the average age of the offender was 40 years old. I don't know why some of you are sick like that. You know, like I said, I couldn't be president because, you wouldn't like my bill when it come to that. The Protect the American Children Act. You would not like it. Okay. Because it wouldn't be no jail sentence for people like you. No. We would have swift capital punishment for people like that. Because certain people can't be rehabilitated, you know. And the reason why I know that, like, you think you know more than God. There's a reason why God say stone certain people in the Bible. There's reasons for it, because He knows certain people can't just be rehabilitated. Certain sin and unrighteousness you can't fix. The devil too much in them. You know what I'm saying? But they don't talk about their criminality. They don't talk about none of the issues and problems. And their criminality is affecting their community. They're not committing all that criminality in our community. Because we all know statistically, crime happens in the people who live in the majority of those areas. And they don't live around us like that. So they have a lot of crime happening in their communities. It's just swept underneath the rug. Their media don't want to talk about it. Let me give you an example. We know we have crime in our community, but do we want to talk about it all the time? No. Well, their media is the same way. And I'm going to say their media is times 10 because they run around here acting like they're holier than thou, but it doesn't take really much to see the terror that their males reign in their community, even their females reign in their community. It's not that hard to go look that up. That's why I always tell them, watch your mouth with me because I have no problem dedicating time to you and just showing what's the truth. I don't have to lie on you. Now, they have hurt themselves, and anti-black racism will be the end of their whole civilization. It will be the end because everything they've ever done is coming back on them, and it's literally going to implode on them because they the ones that empowered the greedy among them in their community. They empowered them to do all the dirt, the evil, and everything else. They empowered them. They did it. And the billionaire class in their community don't care about the poor whites. They can care less about them. And when they finally realize it, now they won't spin the block with us and be like, yeah, black people, you were right the whole time. You be looking at them like, man, get the hell on, Brad. Man, I ain't trying to hear you right now, man. The only reason you saying we right is because now it's touching you. If it wasn't touching you, you wouldn't be saying nothing but telling us stop being lazy, stop complaining, stop talking about, racism, systemic racism, stop talking about predatory capitalism because, you're just not working hard enough. When it when it was good for you, you got all that mouth. But now when it's happening to you, now you're crying. And what I love about, I keep telling y'all, I love this about Trump. And I was telling brother, and shout out to him, brother Afro Elite last night when I seen him out there in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio Black Expo. I told him I love the chaos Trump is causing. I love it because see, they thought that Trump was going to cause the majority chaos on FBAs and other groups. They didn't think Trump was going to cause actually majority chaos on them. And he's just getting started. I keep telling y'all, by the time Trump get out of office, they gonna feel like they have been through the worst of the worst, and they will never recover. Listen to me. They will never recover for what Trump is gonna put them through. We gonna be fine. We have been built for this. We gonna actually shine during the time of Trump because we got all the skills to shine. It's nothing Trump can do to us that haven't been done. But them, they are going to go through it. And the whole Western world is going to go through it. It's not just them. The whole, when I say Western world, I'm talking about the whole global community is going to go through it. As you see more and more brothers in Africa are saying, you know what? Nah, I don't want y'all getting our resources no more. If you look at France right now, France economy is about to collapse. Why? Because France depended on West Africa to fund its economy. And now when people like Ibrahim Traore and brothers, many other brothers are starting to say, nah, we cool on some of that, now they in trouble. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see more and more of that on the African continent. They're gonna like, nah, we gonna benefit off our resources. We good. Y'all gotta go. And these people forever have been literally living off of black folk, off of resources, off of our talent, off of our essence, off of our spirit, everything, our energy. They've been living off of. And the worst thing that black folks can do is say, cut them off from us and say, hey, you go do you and we gonna do us. That's the worst thing they could ever done. Not fighting, not starting nothing. See, the best thing we did even in America is delineate and be not out there with this protesting and see, because when you're out there protesting and marching, you're begging them to do something. When we delineate and we say we ain't doing no protesting, marching no more, we're going to do strategic things like we are economic boycott, which we know that hurts them more than anything. Prime example, Target is still crying about that boycott, even though I believe there's other corporations that could have been boycotted. But hey, if y'all want to use an example with Target, I think it's a good example. They're begging for y'all to stop begging. And so if Target is begging, then other corporations could be begging too. We spend $1.6 trillion in this economy, FBAs, $1.6 trillion. Our greatest power is economic boycotts. We ain't got to march for crap. We ain't got to do that. To me, the marching time is over. There's no reason to be marching no more. Marching don't work. What works is economic boycotts, sitting out elections, and things like, and if it got bad enough, we talking about just historically, uprisings have also made some things happen too. But I'm just saying that these people is reaping the benefit, reaping the harvest of anti-black racism. And we ain't got to do nothing but sit back and watch the show at this point. That's all we got to do. They're gonna be at each other's throats. They're gonna be imploding. Look, we've been should have moved out the way. We just need to worry about, like, I was at the Ohio Black Expo yesterday, y'all, and I'm watching black folks who's having a good time. Beautiful black people in Columbus, Ohio. And shout out to all my brothers and sisters in Columbus. Beautiful black people. And that's what I like to see. Black people need to be having fun. Juneteenth about to come up. Man, we need to, it's time to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. So don't worry about that. We want to do something for our community. But anti-black racism is going to cost y'all everything. And we're here for it. Why? Because we've been the victims of it. So now the time has come for you to get everything that you dished out to us. It's just that simple. Do you really think that we was going to suffer forever as FBAs? Did you really think that you was going to be so high on the hog to eternity? Have you not read the scriptures? You have, but you didn't think it applied to you. That's really what it is. It's so much that has been done that not us, because we ain't got nothing to do with it, but God has to deal with you about. And he is dealing with you. Men's judgment is going to be slow and painful. But we're going to come out fine. We're going to come out with spoils. I promise you that. We're not going to get caught up in it. And don't come asking us for forgiveness, because we ain't the one you should ask for forgiveness to. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a person that in your community who's not like that, you need to stand up, stick out, and denounce, the overall community that you come from, because call it what it is. We know anti-black racism is part of the culture. So you really have to denounce that and walk away from that and be the best person you could be. But anti-black racism will cost them everything. Colonialism, imperialism, predatory capitalism, it's going to cost them everything. And I will say this, a lot of people don't say it, but the world will rejoice when they see all this happening. Why? Because you have left a lot of tears, a lot of destruction, a lot of blood, a lot of sad people in the midst of your rule. Don't get mad, and don't be saying, crying about people don't like you. No. Look at what has been done over all these years. Why would anybody be sitting here globally at this point, want to see you back where you were in the 1940s and 50s? Why would they want to see that?